010509. Welcome to Studio V Enterprise. Today we're celebrating First Contact at Studio V. We're organising a special screening of Star Trek The Future Begins, and since this morning, Trekkies, trekkers, fans, bloggers have been coming to Studio V to participate in a series of events from treasure hunts, trivias, and a whole lot more that will lead to the screening tonight. With me is Kara Lee from United International Pictures, and we will be talking about this much anticipated new movie. Hi Kara.
Hi.
So tell me a little bit about this movie. How is it like compared to the previous Star Treks?
First of all, it is UIP's first summer blockbuster for this year. And the fact that it's new is because the director, first of all, is J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
And he's specially chosen to sort of reinvent or reimagine the whole franchise. So it's very new. The whole cast, they're all very young.
Yeah.
So it's a brand new reimagining of the Star Trek franchise.
Yeah, and I think that there is also this disconnection. People want to put this film differently from the rest, the older ones.
Yeah, I think it's been a while since the last Star Trek films came out, and we're very focused in the sense that we really want to put it out that it's a brand new film. You don't have to know anything about the previous films. You don't even have to know the characters. It is an action film, and slowly you will be introduced to the young cast, who's who. Then you will find out you don't even have to be a fan. You know, if you like big action blockbusters, and if you like, mainly for the younger generation, it's hip and it's cool. So if you like this genre, you will like the film.
So I have to say the new cast is very, very good looking and they're very young. Do you think that this movie will be able to tap into a new market of fans, you know, the younger ones?
Definitely. I think if you look at the poster and the visual, you see Chris Pine. If he's not known before, he will be very known after this. You have Zachary Quinto from Heroes, so he's already a well-known face. And the rest of the cast like Carl Urban, Eric Bana. So this sort of adds to a very really hip and cool young cast. And this will be a selling point for the film. And this will sort of speak to a whole new generation of young moviegoers. And basically we want to reach out to a brand new whole audience for this film.
Yeah. Okay, but how would you say you want to rebut arguments from the older fans who think that maybe the younger cast might not be able to live up to expectations?
I think, of course, older fans, they will always have something to say about the film. After all, they've been following the whole franchise for so many years. It's close to their hearts, and then we appreciate that. But then again, this film only makes the franchise more accessible to everyone. It's no longer like, oh, Star Trek, but I don't know anything about it, I haven't seen. It's now going to reach out to everyone, young and old. So I think no matter what, a lot of people will say a lot of stuff, but then I don't think there is anything really bad to say about the film. I think we'll have two segments. The first segment will be those raving about it because it is a good piece of very entertaining film. Then on the other hand, we will have some people who might say, yeah, it's okay, it's also, but definitely no one will have anything bad to say about it.
Okay, so the screening is going to be on 7th of May. Can you maybe give us a little bit of a sneak peek of what highlights we should be looking forward to in the movie?
I think I don't want to provide any spoilers, but the thing is, in the US, they are opening on the 8th, we are opening on the 7th, so essentially we are opening together with the rest of the world. It's very exciting, it's our first blockbuster for this year. Some people have seen it, it's just really good. The whole challenge now is to make the younger moviegoers convinced enough to come buy a ticket and watch it. That's our main objective, but we're all excited. Anyone who's seen it, they're all very excited.
Okay, now that got me really excited too. I think I'm definitely going to watch the movie.
Oh, and the highlights, I'm sure if you've seen the trailer, you've seen some clips and footages, and that's just to give you a taste of the big scale. It's not even sci-fi as in the old Star Trek sci-fi. It's really on the big scale. You see the ship and you see the battles. And it is a big scale production.
Looks like it's going to be an entertaining fair. Now, very interesting groups of fans have been showing up at Studio V all day long. And with me is Richard C. and his family. He's a die-hard Star Trek fan, and he has decided to name his 2 kids after characters in the movie. So welcome, Richard. Can you please tell me a little bit about how did your passion for Star Trek started?
Well, it started accidentally when I was in the university library when I was overseas, and everybody went for holidays, summer holidays, and I was stuck in the library and I had to sift through some tapes for my dissertation, and I encountered Star Trek videos. And eventually, within those few hours, I got so absorbed into the plot and the architecture of it that I became a fan instantaneously, and also took the concept to do for my final year dissertation, which eventually was about the Starship Enterprise.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
So what qualification were you pursuing that you could do a thesis on Star Trek?
Yeah, I was doing network computing. So as you know, all ships run heavily on computers. So the distributed nature of the computers in the ship gave a very good avenue for me to begin the dissertation.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I understand you've named your son Riker and your daughter Seven. You know, why did you choose these characters for your kids?
Well, number one, when I had my first son, the only appropriate name for a number one for as in one of the names of the characters were Riker, as in because he was a number one in the executive officer in the Enterprise in one of the show. And I was greedy, so Riker seems nice, but because he had to also be a captain, so instead of just Riker, it was also Riker C. James T. Kirk. So eventually we registered him as that. Yeah.
And Seven?
And Seven is also a character in one of the Star Trek, and it's called Star Trek Voyager. So calling her Seven appropriately because she's a girl, and of course, again, one name wasn't enough. I had to also throw in a captain's name, so her full name became 7C Catherine Janeway.
Yeah, right. So, okay, this is definitely a very outstanding thing to do. But what other things have you done in pursuit of your passion for Star Trek?
Yes, one of the focus of being a Star Trek fan is the pride in having the registry number NCC 1701.
Yeah.
So many years ago, even before the state of Negeri Sembilan started off with NCC, I already began saving a lot of my time and effort and money for that number, and eventually I managed to bid it for quite a high price of $20,000 for the NCC 1701, which is the registry number of the Starship Enterprise.
And how long has that car number plate followed you?
Yeah, it's only been following me past 6 months, since June last year.
Okay, so you paid 25,000 ringgit for it?
Yes, and a lot of waiting in queue.
Okay, so what about collectibles, you know, and other merchandise that you have from Star Trek?
Sure, I believe all Star Trek fans has collectibles and books and stuff, so I have a room filled with all memorabilia and books and anything related to Star Trek. So again, that with uniforms and everything, it's part of Trekkie's life.
Trekkie's life, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a little bit about the movie or your own personal opinion. If Worf were to get into a fight with Chewbacca, who do you think will win?
Who do you think will win? Chewbacca will win.
Why is that?
He has a louder roar than Worf.
Okay. One of the most colorful things about a movie are the costumes and the gadgets. And in Star Trek, it is definitely a pool of gadgets and costumes to look at. We are today with Richard Chua from Outpost. They are the sole distributor of Star Trek merchandise and costumes in Malaysia. Hi Richard, can you tell me a little bit about what Outpost does?
Outpost does a variety of things, the most visible of which is our outlet in Cine Leisure Damansara. It's on level 2 next to Cathay Cineplex. It's called The Outpost. Also confused sometimes with Sci-Fi Shop, other purpose for that. But principally, it's a combination cafe and hobby center whereby we have movie merchandise, memorabilia. We have that as for sale as well as decor. We also function as a cafe whereby we host movie team events and so forth. Outside that physical venue, we also do events here like today at Studio V. Sort of on the theme of for fans by fans, and associated with that also we have Outpost services, which relates to some of the movie toy displays that we can provide for modelers.
Yep. So you for Star Trek, The Future Begins, this movie. What new gadgets have you brought in to your shop?
Well, Star Trek this year in 2009 is a reboot of the original Star Trek series. So while a lot of elements are reflective of the original series in the 1960s, a lot of it has also been updated to the current level of, I guess, technology or realism and so forth. So we sort of also rebooted our costumes, or rather our Starfleet uniforms here today, into the look and feel of the new movie as much as possible we can do for the fans. The technology-wise, we've brought in what we call, these are like Star Trek role-play devices. This is a sort of replica of the new tricorder seen in the movies. It's sort of like a sensing device. It sort of detects what you can't see. It takes readings to people using it. We also have the new, very shiny Star Trek phaser.
Yeah.
With settings very, stun and kill.
Yeah. So these are the two main ones from Star Trek: The Future Begins.
It's quite visible seen in the movie. Of course, there is the Starship Enterprise itself. It was such a hot item, it was sold out before we could get a hold of some. And we're looking forward to getting some in stock and on display, hopefully by the time the movie release.
Okay. So about your regular customers, I'm sure you would know, your Star Trek fans, Star Trek regulars who would come in all the time to check on your new merchandise, to buy anything that is new, hot. Tell me a little bit about your regular customers.
I think there's a number of customers who are engaged in the movie hype, which is generated with the current blockbusters and all that. When that happens, you hunt for merchandise. Oh, we want to take a piece of the action back with us to our homes and enjoy that experience. Of course, over that, there are also what we call as like ongoing fan collectors, those who are, of course, hyped with the movie. It's a good reason to bring us together again as fans and all that. But I would say true fans also live on the experience regardless whether the movies or books are there. It's like those who come check out, what's the latest Star Trek merchandise, or though it's not really the latest merchandise, but it's something sometimes we get cool stuff which is not the most current stuff but could even be for 10 years ago, but exchanging hands from collectors to new collectors, and that's why we hope sometimes we have something very interesting for people to come browse. What may not be the latest gadget like this, but also cool stuff from the previous eras for Star Trek as well as other sci-fi series.
Okay. So Star Trek fans out there, do drop by Outpost to check out the latest merchandise from the movie. In the meantime, after this, we're going to be meeting more bloggers and fans to check out what they are wearing to the event today, and also do not miss our special screening tonight.